Hello, I'm Rythian, and this is Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. This video is sponsored by Square Enix, and is meant to be a bit of a beginner's guide to show you how to get your start in the land of Eorzea. Now that we've leveled up a bit and gotten our start in the adventure, we're going to take a look at some of the more advanced things you can do in Final Fantasy XIV. Leave quests, guild hests, and of course dungeons. Some of these things you can do on your own, but some of them you will need to do together with other people. You can't save the world all on your own after all. We're also going to take a look at the challenge log, which ties all of these things together. Once you get far enough into the main storyline, you'll get directed to the Leave Meet people. They are the people that will allow you to do the Leave quests, which you could consider sort of repeatable quests that you can do to level up and gain more experience. You'll always have to do one trial quest first, which is exactly what we're going to do right now. We need to go ahead and kill a desert pastel, or pasta? It's a lizard, alright? It's a lizard. We need to go kill a lizard. This is our first Leave quest, and we need to do it very well. Off we go, and we've found the area where the quest is supposed to be. Since there is a time limit on the quest, I'd recommend moving to the area where you're supposed to do it first. So we find it, click initiate, and we're good to go. We have a choice here to decide if we want to take it on at a higher level or not. This is generally if you're over leveled or if you want to have a little bit more challenge in return for more reward. But we're going to keep it at the appropriate level. So here we go, the soft skin lizard. We're gonna fight the lizard. And the one gimmick of this fight is that you need to make sure that he can't escape and summon another friend. So when he gets low, which is now, you need to make sure that you kill him pretty quickly. Which is easy enough. As you can see, the first little trial Leave quest is not particularly hard. You also get given an instant teleport back, which is quite handy. Hooray, we got our reward. You get bonuses based on if you don't die and how quick it goes and so on and so on. Some fancy armor as well. And we level up! Now we have unlocked city-state leaves. There are multiple different areas you can do leaves in. You'll always have to do one trial in each area first, but afterwards you have a whole list of choices to choose from. And in the process of accepting and learning how to do Leave quests, you also get to learn how to do guild hests. Lost Rabbit here will show us exactly what that means. It is, like he says, more than a simple Leave quest, but not quite as crazy as a full-on raid. As you can see from the little unique symbols over their head, you can easily spot when there's one of the NPCs you want to talk to that enables you to do one of those things. Here's the first guild hest we have available, called Basic Training Enemy Parties. This is the first time you get to see the Duty Finder, which is basically the queue for queuing up and joining random people to do something for you. In this case we mark that this is what we want to do, click Join. You'll see on the right there, the party will start forming, an average wait time of about less than 5 minutes, and you see how long you've been waiting. In the meanwhile, we can take a look at the different leaves we have available for us here. There are 4 different ones, all with catchy names and all involving different amount of enemies to be killed and different rewards. You can also do gathering quests and so on, but that's not something we're going to go into right now. So now we just wait. Finally, it will pop up on the window on your screen saying you're good to go. You click commence and you get teleported into your first ever guild hest. This might be the first time you're doing something with other people, but don't panic. They're usually just as clueless as you are. Get a little bit of a basic information screen. This is basically telling you only fight one party at a time, please. So go for it. some of these sink you down to a level below where you're supposed to be. And you can't use that spell or certain spells because you're lower level than you technically are. As you can see when we're trying to click Blizzard 2, it says action not yet learned. Because even though we're level 12, we've been synced down to level 11 for this Guildhest. So far not much of an issue taking out these tiny little mandragoras. As soon as you step into the hazardous zone, all of a sudden he appears. At this point on, I figure it's best to take on the smaller ads and wait for the big guy later on. As always, make sure you don't stand in the stuff in the ground. Basic stuff, but important stuff. One tiny little dude left. And now just a big guy. Oh, no, there's a condor too. Let's get that one. Down he goes. And he's down to about, what, a fifth of his health? A fourth? Less? Finish him. Oh, yeah. Duty complete! And that is Guildhest completed. Now we talked to the little guy that brought us here. And we get an extra reward for having done it the first time, and for no one dying. As you can see, it's not bad. Quite a lot of experience and a nice chunk of gil on top of that. And that's Guildhests. They're quite useful. Consider them sort of mini quick dungeons that teaches you the basics. They're useful. You can always continue doing more of them as you queue up here, as you unlock more. Generally you get about 2 per 5 levels, so we have Under the Armor to do now, and then we can try to do more later on when we hit 15. At this point on, to want to do the other stuff, you need to level up a bit and continue on with the main story quest. Once you've reached the part where you take to the skies in an airship and travel around to the other different starting zones, you will eventually be able to talk to this guy over here, Bateron in the Drowning Wench. He finishes the quest Call of the Sea. And then he gives you It's Probably Pirates. Now, the basics of this quest is there's a bunch of pirates in a cave, we need to sort them out. This is your first dungeon. But before you go on to that, have a chat with this little lady here. She talks about someone being really annoying and causing trouble in the bar. So, let's go have a chat with some people. A swarthy Rodigan who enjoyed his drink. Alright. Rogadin. The giant guy. First we need to talk to Quentinine. Got that one on the first try. And now we need to make our way down to the lower decks where we can find said Goliath guy. Hand over the journal that we found. He's super happy with us. Yes. This is his sort of journal, his adventuring log, or should I say, the challenge log. He says he's filled it up with all kinds of information and all kinds of legendary things he's done throughout his adventures. And then he gives us one of our own, which is going to be quite handy. Goodbye, friend. And we have obtained the challenge log. In the challenge log you can see that there's a bunch of things you can do that all around gives you extra bonuses. For example, if you do 3 Guildhests, we gain an extra 2000 experience. If we finish with the highest rating possible in 5 fates, we get lots of extra, and so on, and so on, and so on. It's generally always a good idea to grab the challenge log before you start doing anything else. It's just extra free stuff as you do more things. As you can see, there are many categories, some of them we haven't unlocked yet, that we can do. The Melpa here will give us transport to Aleport, which is where we need to go. Once we make our way here, we have a chat with Yellow Jacket. And now we have the blessing to enter Sista. This time we need to do it with the Duty Finder, same as we did for the Guild Hests. But if you click Dungeons, you have Sista right here. You can also use the Duty Roulette, but we'll go more into details with that later. So, queue up and wait. This is gonna take a little bit longer than 5 minutes. That tends to be the case if you're only a DPS. There you go, the duty is ready and it's time to start the dungeon. Welcome to Sista. This is a 4-man party, as all these light parties tend to be. I am a thaumaturge. We seem to have a healer, which would be a scholar, I think. Conjurer? Something like that. We have a gladiator tank, and we have a lancer as the other DPS. Together we will make our way through the dungeon, defeat the different bosses, and then get the end boss and get our loot. Dungeons will usually be the best place for you to go in terms of getting better gear. Is the first boss a girl called Chopper. Use all the lessons you've learned and it shouldn't be much of a problem. Make sure you don't stand and stuff. Attack him from behind. Let the tank deal with the tank stuff, let the healer heal you, and everything is fine. You even have time to rearrange some of the action buttons on your action bar. As the first boss, he's not that much of a challenge. As you can see, he is pretty much down in about a minute, I think. If even that. Hooray! This gives us the first loot. Sadly, these are for a gladiator more so than a thaumaturge, so I'm gonna have to greed on those. If it were, for example, a real fancy staff or a cool robe, definitely click need on those. Captain Madison, the pirate captain. We've been hunting him a couple of times and he keeps running away when his friends die. Hopefully this time, I'll take him out for good. I've been casting Fire 2 a lot when there's 3 or more enemies. It's a nice area of effect spell that does a nice chunk of damage. But soon enough we're down to just us and Madison. And we'll go into the standard rotation of Umbral Lights until we have enough mana. Switching back to Astral Fire and casting Fire until he dies. But of course things are never that simple. Captain Madison releases the scurvy dogs. Now all of a sudden we have these to deal with. Bye, Captain Madison. Looks like we'll have to catch him later. Let's mop up these dogs and hunt him down. A shield. Nothing for us, I'm afraid. Well, we can technically use them. We don't really care about those stats. Well, no, that was a bit unexpected. Looks like Captain Madison is not the final boss of the dungeon. Instead, this lizard person, Den the Orca-Toothed. This fight is fairly straightforward. One thing that can really catch people off guard is you see the little unnatural ripples at the edges of the room. If you are ranged DPS like me, it is generally your job to, as soon as they start bubbling, to go over and interact with them. If you don't do that in time, this one isn't bubbling, so see what I'm trying to click? Nothing happens. But when they start bubbling, if you don't interact with them in time, another lizard person will jump out and you'll suddenly have more problems to deal with. So as long as you keep that under control, which case in my case means I run around and click a lot for the entire fight. The rest of them shouldn't be much of a problem. If the tank and the other DPS can focus entirely on Den the Orca-Toothed, and you do your job clicking the unnatural ripples, victory will soon be yours. This baton is so low, I'm going to ignore the ripples and stay on him. Down he goes. Hooray! The final piece of loot. That's not for me either. Wasn't particularly lucky this time around, but you never know. As always, you can run a dungeon multiple times. You want to make sure you get the best loot, of course. But now, it's time to leave. Just go find the exit. And not only is your quest to complete the dungeon complete, you have finished the duty finder and you get the bonus from it. As you can see, we can now go into the challenge log, and we have completed 1 dungeon out of 5 to get the bonus. The challenge log is weekly, so you have plenty of time to get them all done. That is it for my part in this beginner's guide series to Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. Stay tuned for more stuff coming from Caf and Martin. And as always, remember to check out the Selfie Competition. Details are in the description below. Give it a shot, you might win something, you never know. But until next time, goodbye.